John's vision scrutinizes the Christian institutions, revealing the behind-the-scenes of a complex and problematic history. To the church in the city of Ephesus, write this: "Thus says the Lord, the one who holds the 7 stars in his right hand, who walks among the 7 golden lampstands. I know your works well. I know that you have labored and persevered in faith. I know that you cannot tolerate evildoers, that you have tested those who claim to be apostles, but are not, and have found them to be false. You have remained steadfast in faith and have endured hardships for my name's sake without growing weary. But I have this against you: you have lost your first love. How you have changed! Remember the way you were at the beginning. Return to that state. Otherwise, I will come and remove your lampstand from its place. Yet, there is this in your favor: you hate the deeds of the Nicolaitans. Let anyone who has ears listen to what the Spirit says to the churches. To the victor, I will give the right to eat from the tree of life, which is in the paradise of God." Ephesus is the first stop on the journey from Patmos, likely the most important port of that time. Its lights are the first ones perceived from the sea. It is not by chance, therefore, that Ephesus was chosen to represent the first church bearing the first light. Ephesus means desirable in Greek. It is the church that experienced the apostolic times, the first love, and was the first to receive the passing of the torch. The inhabitants of Ephesus were known for their superstitions, the trade of amulets, and religious fanaticism in worshipping Artemis, the famous goddess of the Ephesians. Immorality and crime were rampant among the population. However, Ephesus is the church of the first converts from paganism, with its period ranging from 31 to 100 AD. Despite being so close to authoritative sources, this church is already threatened by apostasy. You have lost your first love. As much as it may have been inspired by God and taken its first steps with God, the church has not secured its future. It can fall and witness the removal of its mandate. Return to your former love, otherwise I will come and remove your lampstand from its place. But despite some missteps, the church of Ephesus still retains its integrity. It detests the works of the Nicolaitans, which threatened the early Christian community. The Nicolaitans were a religious group following Nicola, a deacon of the church in Antioch, not far from Ephesus. From Hippolytus's testimony, we know that the Nicolaitans were characterized by their licentious conduct. A misinterpretation of the Apostle Paul's teachings on the role of the law and grace led them to believe that, being freed from the condemnation of the law, Christians were not obligated to control earthly passions. According to this prophetic testimony, the first fragments of apostasy that entered the church concerned the law of God and anthropology. They did not obey the moral law of the 10 Commandments because they believed that grace would forgive every sin anyway. The early Christians did not accept these false ideas about grace, and that is why they received commendation from the Lord. You hate the deeds of the Nicolaitans. Indeed, to refuse to obey God's law is to reject God Himself, who is its author and is incarnated in the ethical choices of existence.